Welcome, Robin, and thank you so much for coming on. You've been working with me. We worked for 12 weeks, and you've had some incredible shifts and insights. So tell me, if you would, a little bit about where you were before you started working with me and some of the challenges and struggles that you were going through.
Yeah, absolutely. When we first started working together, I reached out because I wanted to lose weight. And I was tired of feeling run down and unattractive, and I just really felt down on myself. And I felt like I had tried everything over and over. So I felt kind of desperate. And so that's when I reached out to you through your Facebook page to see if you would work with me and just get some information.
Yeah, and how did you feel at that time when we spoke, just before you said yes?
Honestly, I was terrified. I was excited, but mostly I was terrified. I was afraid it was going to be one more time of money spent or energy spent for the same results. And I felt like a hamster in a wheel and just doing the same thing over and over again and just getting more disappointed each time. I knew I felt desperate, so that's why I wanted to work with you, but I don't know that I actually believed it would make a difference.
Yes, I remember when we had that talk, because you tried a lot of different things on the weight loss, like so many people have.
Yes, I think I've tried just about anything and everything there is to try. I've read so many books, so many different plans. I've signed up for things. I've cut out food groups. I've tried, I feel like, almost every single thing that I could possibly do. And it wasn't until working with you did I figure out that it's not really even a weight problem that I have.
Yeah, and we'll dig down to that in a minute. One of the things I remember about you, and I think I see this in so many clients, and I've shared with you, I had a gold medal in this once, and that's just being hard on yourself and beating yourself up and speaking unkindly. So, and I know you had some insights as to that one. So tell me a little bit about your self-talk.
I didn't even know how mean I was to myself. I talked to myself in a way I would never allow my daughters to talk to themselves, or friends or family. And you would point it out, kindly, but you would point it out, or you would hear it, or saying it out loud to somebody is different than hearing it in your head and kind of dismissing it. But it wasn't until I sat with someone and I heard someone who's a little bit older than me, who obviously has the same kind of struggles, but she's also in the type of body that is what I think I would like to have. To me, she was at that end point, and to hear her and how she talked about herself and just how mean she was to herself, it was really eye-opening. And to know that if I continued in my way, that would be my story 10 years from now. And it was heartbreaking. And I think it was really, really eye-opening. So we had been putting the work in, and then I think there was an example placed in front of me to really bring it home.
Yeah, I do remember that one. And I think one of the other things, when we worked on your values, I think when we looked at your health value, you got some insights around the focus and where your focus had been.
Yeah, the very thing that I thought I wanted most was not even in my values. So health, going through the list of you working with me, going through the list, I'm thinking my health, my weight loss is number one. And really it was so far on the list that it didn't even rank. So until changing the perspective and having it have importance and having it be a value of mine, it wasn't going to change anything.
And I think some of the language was very much focused away from what you didn't want as well.
Yes, and I do think that was one of the tips that really maybe have helped me the most, is figuring out there's towards motivation and there's away from motivation. And the more I'm talking about what I don't want, it's the away from versus going towards what I really want, which is much more powerful and intentional, and didn't even realize that was a pattern.
Yeah, because I remember you got some pretty good insights as we were working. Was there any other techniques or any other insights that you would like to share from the journey?
I think really the main thing is I thought for me it was about losing weight. And it wasn't that. It was realizing my limiting beliefs and I think stuck emotions that were keeping me in habit loops that I wasn't even aware of. And even today I have to be conscious that, you know, to observe it. So you having me observe my self-talk and observe my thoughts as they come up and not punish them, not judge them, just observe them, step away from them, but to act from a mindful place. And the one thing I have found that is if I get tired or run down in any way, habit takes over, and it's working through the mindfulness even on the good days, so that when the habit doesn't take over on the bad days. So it's I think just shifting that, and then any of the work that we did where you were giving tips on, stuck emotions and how to free those, and even, insulating my feelings from others, and just for some really eye-opening tips that you gave that are just really accessible and very helpful.
Yeah, and I know you've used them in all capacities, because, as you know, when we get stressed, we get very stuck in our feelings, and we're very much driven by our behaviors, and that's often when we go back into our poor habits. So I think for you really embrace the tools and the techniques, and you managed to use them to change the way you feel, which I think made a big difference on your stress levels and how you share.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good. So tell me, where are you now, having sort of finished the program with me? Tell me a little bit about some of the differences that it's made for you in your life, and what the next step is.
I think the main difference is I'm less reactive or less not tuned in. I'm not just letting things run on autopilot. I'm if I make a choice, I'm trying to be more mindful of it. And there's days, I think we all have days, but it's just recognizing it and being more mindful of making good choices. And I feel much more positive, and I have a better outlook. And then I'm catching myself reading and learning and growing on what you and I have talked about. And it just connects more information, and it's exciting to be on a path where there's tips and there's possibilities and options, and it's exciting.
Good. And do you feel different as well now from when we first started?
Yeah, I don't even feel like the same. I feel very sad for my old self, because it was such wasted energy, just complete wasted energy, and I just feel more comfortable in my skin. It has nothing to do with weight loss. It's just how I view myself and my priorities and what I want, and a belief that I can achieve anything that I set my mind consciously to.
Yeah, which is great. And I don't think you would have believed that before.
No, I don't think so at all.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because I guess I'm totally passionate about what I do, because I know when we work on the mindset, that's where everything starts. So that's where the keys to aligning the subconscious mind, where the beliefs and the unresolved emotions and all our stuff is. So it's so important to work in that area, because it's the source of all our problems. Yet for many people, that they've never thought of working on the mindset. And I think for you too, it was the one area that you hadn't really worked on.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've read lots of self-help. I've always been very interested in the brain and how the brain works, and I feel like I had a pretty good understanding. But I didn't realize how much was running in the background without my awareness, that even the things that I thought I was in control of, just to realize how much of it really is just behind the scenes and coming from a subconscious level. And I think, honestly, I don't know that I would have made that connection without having you as my personal coach, because even just reading through the information, it's having you reflect back to me and reassess and then hear things out loud. That to me was the extra step that I would have never thought before.
Yeah.
It made the difference having your assessment, and then revisit and to touch on and to develop from there. And it gave such power that I don't think you could get just from reading or listening. It was that feedback and that you were there with me really made the difference for me.
Yeah, and I think it's so true, and I think that's the difference that makes the difference. You know, many years ago, I had all the books in the world, but it went into here, but I didn't know how to embody it and make it work, and I wasn't always implementing it. But the wonderful thing about having an expert with you is they can help you see what you can't see, and then you can be aware of it, which gives you the ability to change it. So what would you say to somebody else that would, you know, that was where you were before you embarked on your journey?
I think if there's somebody that's you know, just really looking at their life and really wanting it to be different, you have to do a different thing. And by taking the chance of, to me, it was an extremely different, because I'm kind of a private person. So to work with somebody, it's kind of difficult. But if you want a different result, you have to try a different way. And you don't know what it is that is keeping us stuck or preventing us or the very thing that we want the most, we tend to get in our own way of. And to that person, I would say, just have a belief, have an open mind and a willingness, and you'll make the rest of it work.
Yeah, and I think for you, you know, there's always the cost, obviously, when we want to change in life, and obviously there was a cost to work with me, and I know that you were a little bit hesitant, but if you look at the investment now, you know, would you say that it's been really worth it?
Absolutely, it's invaluable. You can't put dollars on it. It starts from a dollar standpoint because you don't know. You can only base it on programs or previous or you know, disappointments from past, so you don't know. But to be on the other side of it, there's not a number that I can put on the value that I received. It's just life-changing.
Yeah, which is great, and that's what I hear from so many people. And I guess, you know, I've been doing this a long time, and I will do anything and everything to help my clients, which is why when they do commit, not only will I do anything to help them, but I will guarantee they will get results when they put the commitment back in. So I really applaud everything you've done, Robin. Is there anything else just before we finish that you would like to share?
Well, actually, I want to say thank you to you. Not only did you help me and you worked with me and you made me feel you were a partner in this, but you have had your own experiences, and from those, you were able to come from a personal point when working with me. And for me, I think that really made the difference. You weren't somebody just, you know, reciting information. You have had your own experiences, and I know you have other clients, and so therefore you have experience from that. But I think it was the personal touch that it made you be on the path with me, and I really connected to that, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, and I think it's very important that we keep it honest and open, and I'm a very private person too, so I really honor and applaud every single client who opens up and reaches out for help, because I remember doing that once myself, and it was one of the hardest things I did when I knew I was going to look at me, and it would be uncomfortable, yet I knew it was going to be my greatest gift. And it was. However, I totally respect and appreciate that it's a really hard thing. So if anyone else is listening, reach out and take that first step, because I think when you've done it, everything else becomes so much easier.
Absolutely. To anybody who is thinking of doing that, you will be in wonderful hands. So.
Thank you, Robin. And again, I sincerely thank you. And I know you've got so many exciting things lined up for the new you in the
Absolutely.
future. And I'm sure it'll make a wonderful difference, not only for you, but your in family, who's so important to you, and in your
Yes.
workplace, and everyone that touches you. And I know you're going to be an incredible shining light for others, which is what is so wonderful when we work on ourselves, you know.
Absolutely. And I appreciate all that you have taught me and guided me and laughed with me, and it's been a really pleasurable journey. So thank you.
Likewise, and I'm very blessed to do, you know, what I love and to meet such amazing people, and it's what inspires me every day. So thank you from my heart to you. It's been a beautiful journey, and I wish you every success. And I know we'll keep in touch, and I look forward to hearing the next.
Absolutely.
Robin. Okay.
Thank you.